Let's talk about what's going on in the industry today. I'm just curious, what do you see as like the big topics that you're focused on with originators in 2026? Like, is it you got to get on the AI train? Is it you got to get back to basics? Is it you're missing out on all the refinance opportunities that are out there right now? Because, for some reason, retail loan officers don't tend to refinance their clients. It's a weird thing. I'm just curious for you, like, what are the hot buttons for loan officers in 2026 that, from your perspective?
I'm starting with a mindset right now. And I want loan officers to like visualize what would happen if we get to 2030 and a robot took your job. Like, let's get comfortable with the most uncomfortable, biggest elephant in the room. And that's robots are coming after us. Now, I do buy into the theory that we as the originator, the good ones, the advisors, we will be the last ones to go. But from a mentality standpoint, what if? And if you acted as if a robot was going to take over your job in the next 5 years, that then means you only have 5 years to earn, save, and invest 20 years worth of income. Like, think about that. You only have 5 years to make all the money you could have made over 20. The good news, and you know this, Tony, as well as anybody, the good news is this industry gives you the opportunity to earn 20 years of an engineer's income in just 5, right? That's $3 million in 5 years. If an engineer's making $150 a year, I'm not talking about a crazy software engineer up in Silicon Valley. I'm talking about someone working at Siemens, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, right? Those men and women, yeah, they come out of college making 70, 80, 90 grand, but 20 years in their career, they're making 140, 150, 160, right? Think of a nurse making $80,000, $90,000 a year, right? After 20 years, what is that? 1.6, $1.8 million, right? So you have the opportunity. What are you doing about it? What needs to change? Where do you need to grow? And yes, we all need to be aware of what AI is doing. We all need to be aware of how we leverage that technology to reduce cost, to create a much better workflow, better user experience. But I feel like our industry has AI fatigue. I think a lot of people have AI fatigue because we're talking about it and we're talking about it and we're talking about it. But it's not like we have this like crazy material change happening that we can qualify and quantify. I told my wife the other day, because we're Floridians, if you've ever lived in Florida during hurricane season, oh my God, we prepare and we prepare and we talk about and prepare and talk about when there's a storm out in the Caribbean that many of us get fatigued. If you ever want to know why people don't leave their homes and then when the hurricane finally does come, they get decimated, it's because we are like a little bit of the boy that cried wolf.
Right.
And, so I trust that hurricane is coming. I trust that it could be devastating, right? I trust AI is coming. I trust it's going to be massively disruptive, maybe massively awesome, and also massively scary all at the same time. But I sense that we're a little bit fatigued. All I ask of originators, don't be fatigued, right? Like, if you want to run a marathon, you don't start by running 13 miles week 1. You start by buying running shoes. Then you start jogging your neighborhood. Eventually, you sign up for a 5K, then a 10K. Then 6 months later, you're running a 13.1, which is a half a marathon. Maybe 18 months later, you're in your first marathon, right? I do believe that if you're going to be relevant 5 years from now, 3 years from now, you got to be leveraging whatever the technology is, even if you're fumbling through it. Right? Like MySpace only lasted for 2 or 3 years, LimeWire for 1 or 2 years. But I promise you, if you can date yourself and go back there, if you are a super user of MySpace and a super user of LimeWire, there's a good chance you became a super user of other technologies that are super relevant today. So I think we need to start creating the habits that we leverage AI in our daily routines or our daily business. We need to act as if robots take over in 5 years and recognize that we work in an industry where I can earn 20 years worth of income in just 5 years, as long as I'm willing to make some changes. And I think it's those changes people need to focus on, which usually just means more activity, more marketing, more team building, becoming better at sales, becoming better at storytelling. all the things that a really good branch manager, a really good area manager, or a really good coach could help you learn and implement.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it was interesting. I was listening to a podcast just over the weekend, actually, and I think it was the All In podcast. What's the one with I don't know, all the tech guys. Anyway,
I think it is All In. Yeah,
they were talking about the fact that the AI industry has kind of oversold what AI is actually going to be. Not that, and just like you said it perfectly, it's not that it's not coming. It is absolutely coming, but it's not going to replace everybody in a couple of years. Every job's not going to be gone in a couple of years. Matter of fact, in this episode, they were talking about issuing licenses for self-driving cars on a slowed down pace, as to like that not everyone could just go produce a bunch of self-driving cars and eliminate all the Ubers and taxi drivers on the planet and get rid of all the truck drivers. Like they will release it slower over time. So I do think that everyone's waking up to it's two things. How do we control the advent of AI so that it doesn't, completely disrupt the whole world? But B, it was probably overstated what it could actually do. Now, that doesn't mean take your foot off the gas of learning this new technology. Matter of fact, I think when you think that your job can be replaced by a robot in 5 years, the way I would think about that is, the extreme version is actually our jobs all get replaced by robots, and we better be ready to either do a different industry or be prepared to retire in the next 5 years, which, to your point, you could put a huge dent in that depending on where you're at financially. It doesn't really matter where you're at. If you really put the effort in, you can earn a lot of money in this industry. But the other piece of that is, over the next 5 years, learn how to make yourself bulletproof against robots actually being able to take your job, meaning provide more value to your clients that could never be replicated by what the robots can do. But use AI to help yourself be able to do that effectively and serve more people, right? Because that's the other thing. You got to be at a bigger scale than ever. This idea that you're going to live on 2, 3, 4 loans a month, to me, I don't think that that's realistic. I think margins continue to compress in the mortgage industry. I think there's more pressure on, the companies that are investing in the technology and the AI to continue to drive that cost down. So if you want to be super valuable and make yourself bulletproof, then you have to leverage that technology. You have to be able to serve more customers. So use that technology to help you serve more. And in the meantime, you're going to make a ton of money. But in the future, maybe there's less money per transaction. I'm not saying like in 2026. I'm just saying like I could see that being an evolution down the road, but you'll be prepared for that because you've built your business to scale, take all the redundant stuff out of your day and leverage AI to do it. But you got to start somewhere, to your point. So that's interesting.